You know the scene. Your dog is sound asleep on the rug, the picture of domestic tranquility. Then a squeaky toy gets tossed, and instantly that gentle companion turns into a blur of teeth, violently thrashing the stuffed animal from side to side. If you really stop and watch this action, it looks incredibly brutal. It's a sudden, feral explosion of energy that feels out of place in a living room. It's enough to make you wonder if there's a glitch in their programming or if this sudden violence is an early warning sign of underlying aggression. That side-to-side whip is one of the most ancient, deeply ingrained behaviors in canine biology. To understand what's really happening on your living room rug, we have to look past the floppy ears and belly rubs and examine the ancient predator still operating inside their DNA. Wild canines, from foxes to gray wolves, hunt using a hardwired biological checklist called the predatory sequence. It's a 6-step loop programmed straight into their nervous system. Since domestic dogs have their meals delivered in a bowl, they rarely get to run through this entire loop. So they use squeaky toys as a simulator to burn off that unspent biological drive. This timeline outlines the standard prey sequence: search, stalk, chase, and grab bite. That brings us to the 5th step, the kill bite. That violent thrashing you see at home is the exact same motion. In the wild, a rapid, forceful side-to-side shake is the most efficient way for a canine to sever the spinal cord of small prey. It neutralizes the target instantly, avoiding a prolonged struggle that could leave the predator injured. Your dog's stuffed squirrel is simply playing the role of the prey. When they whip it back and forth, they are flawlessly executing a highly evolved, perfectly efficient survival maneuver. This also explains the inevitable mess that follows. Once the toy has been thoroughly shaken, dogs will often pin it between their paws, rip out the stuffing, and hunt down the plastic squeaker. Looking back at our sequence timeline, this behavior maps perfectly to the 6th and final step: dissect and consume. But if you watch different dogs play, you'll notice that not all of them perform this violent shake, and they certainly don't do it with the same level of intensity. Over thousands of years, humans used selective breeding to alter this biological sequence. We artificially amplified or suppressed specific steps on the checklist, depending on the specific job we needed the dog to do. Terriers, for example, were engineered to hunt and exterminate rodents on farms. Because their job required them to dispatch pests quickly, humans selectively bred them to have an incredibly high kill-bite drive. Retrievers were built for a completely different task. Hunters needed them to retrieve shot waterfowl without damaging the meat. So they were bred for a soft mouth, meaning their kill shake instinct was intentionally suppressed. A dog's specific playstyle is a direct physical expression of the way humans rewired their ancestral software. Because the toy shake mimics a lethal action, it's easy to mistake it for actual canine aggression. Ethologically speaking, predatory behavior and true aggression are entirely different states of mind. Actual aggression is almost always a response to conflict or intense fear. As this clinical illustration of defensive aggression shows, a truly aggressive dog will display extreme physical tension, a stiffened posture, weight shifted backward, and ears pulled flat against the head. In practice, you see this tension immediately. The dog is rigid, the muzzle is wrinkled, and the teeth are bared to warn you away. Now compare that to a dog thrashing a toy. Even at maximum intensity, their bodies remain loose and wiggly. They often initiate the action with a play bow, lowering their front end and keeping their rear upward to signal that their intentions are entirely friendly. Aggression is rooted in fear and defensive tension, whereas the violent toy shake is an expression of relaxed, natural joy. Allowing a dog to execute this violent sequence is vital for their overall mental health and emotional stability. Those predatory instincts don't disappear just because a dog lives indoors. If they are completely suppressed, the pent-up energy quickly turns into chronic stress and deep boredom. Without an appropriate target, a bored dog finds their own ways to satisfy that biological drive, which usually results in a chewed-up sofa or a yard full of craters. Providing a squeaky toy acts as a controlled release valve. It gives the domestic dog a safe, fulfilling outlet to safely express their inner wolf. The next time you are cleaning up destroyed toy stuffing from the carpet, you are looking at the successful, healthy completion of a wild hunt.